Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into an essential topic for personal growth and well-being: setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are one of those things that we often don't learn growing up, but they are absolutely essential to living a wholehearted, courageous life. Setting boundaries isn't about closing ourselves off or becoming rigid. It's about having the courage to love ourselves enough to say what's okay and what's not okay. It's about showing up in our lives with authenticity and vulnerability. Let's get started with 10 uplifting tips to help you create the life you deserve. The first step to setting any boundary is understanding what you can and cannot tolerate. What are the things that drain you, disrespect you, or leave you feeling resentful? These are the areas where boundaries are needed most. Think about your values. What's truly important to you? Your values can be a compass, guiding you as you determine what's okay and what's not. For example, if you value authenticity, you might set a boundary around people-pleasing behavior. This process takes time. Be patient with yourself. It's about getting to know yourself on a deeper level, understanding your needs and limits. Remember, you deserve to have your needs met just as much as anyone else. Think about your past experiences. Where have you felt taken advantage of, disrespected, or unseen? These experiences can offer valuable insights into where you might need to set stronger boundaries. Journaling can be incredibly helpful in this process. Write down your thoughts and feelings about different situations, noticing where resentment or discomfort arises. The more we understand our limits, the more equipped we are to communicate them effectively and create healthy relationships with ourselves and others. Once you have a better understanding of your limits, it's time to communicate them clearly and assertively. This doesn't mean being aggressive or demanding. It means speaking your truth with kindness and respect. Start by using I statements. This helps you own your feelings and needs without blaming others. For example, instead of saying, "You're always late," you could say, "I feel disrespected when I'm kept waiting." Be direct and specific about what your boundaries are. Don't expect others to read your mind. Instead of saying, "I need some space," try, "I need some time alone tonight to recharge. Can we connect tomorrow?" Remember, you're not asking for permission, you're stating your needs. It's okay to be firm and assertive. Your needs and feelings are valid. It's natural for others to resist boundaries at first, especially if they're used to you being more flexible. Stand your ground with compassion. Over time, people will learn to respect your boundaries. Sometimes, the most challenging person to communicate boundaries with is ourselves. We might have internalized messages that tell us our needs aren't important. Challenge those messages. You deserve to be heard. Saying no can be tough. We might worry about disappointing others or missing out on opportunities. But every time we say yes to something that doesn't align with our values, we're saying no to ourselves. Start by saying no to something small. Decline an event you don't have the energy for, or say no to an extra task at work. Practice makes perfect. The more you say no, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation. A simple "thank you, but I'm unable to commit" is enough. When you say no, you create space for something that aligns with your values. Embrace the power of no. It's a complete sentence. Prioritize self-care. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. It's like putting on your own oxygen mask first. Self-care looks different for everyone. It could be taking a walk, reading a book, or spending time with loved ones. Make self-care a non-negotiable part of your routine. Schedule it into your day, and don't let guilt creep in. You deserve this time for yourself. Self-care is an act of love for ourselves and others. Remember, self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Set time boundaries. Time is our most valuable resource, and it's important to be intentional about how we spend it. Setting time boundaries helps us protect our energy and ensures that we have time for the things that matter most. Start by identifying your priorities. What are the most important things in your life? Once you know your priorities, you can allocate your time accordingly. Set specific times for work, rest, and social activities. Having dedicated time for each area of your life can help you stay focused and prevent burnout. Don't be afraid to say no to commitments that conflict with your priorities or scheduled time. It's okay to protect your time and energy. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and busyness of life, but remember to schedule downtime, time to relax, recharge, and simply be. This is essential for our mental and emotional well-being. Setting time boundaries isn't about becoming rigid or inflexible. It's about having the freedom to design a life that aligns with your values and priorities. Respect others' boundaries. Just as it's important to set our own boundaries, it's equally important to respect the boundaries of others. When we respect someone's boundaries, we're showing them that we value their needs and their autonomy. Listen attentively when someone is communicating their boundaries. Pay attention not only to their words, but also to their body language and tone of voice. Don't try to convince someone to change their boundaries or minimize their feelings. Everyone has the right to set boundaries that work for them, even if we don't fully understand or agree with them. If you're unsure about someone's boundary, ask for clarification. It's always better to err on the side of respect and ask than to assume and potentially overstep. Respecting someone's boundaries, even when they're different from our own, is a sign of maturity and compassion. When we create a culture of respect around boundaries, we create a space where everyone feels safe and valued. Consistency is key when it comes to setting boundaries. If we're not consistent in enforcing our boundaries, we send the message that they're negotiable, and people may not take them seriously. It's okay to stumble along the way. Setting boundaries is a process, and there will be times when we slip up or give in to old patterns. The important thing is to acknowledge the slip-up and recommit to the boundary. When someone oversteps a boundary, address it directly and calmly. Don't let resentment build up. Remember, you're teaching people how to treat you. It might be tempting to give people a pass, especially those we care about. But remember, inconsistency can erode trust and make it harder to maintain healthy boundaries in the long run. The more consistent we are, the stronger our boundaries become, and the more respect we cultivate in our relationships. It's like training a vine to grow in a certain direction. With consistent guidance, it will eventually flourish along the path we've set. Seek support. Setting boundaries can be challenging, especially if we're not used to it. It's okay to ask for support from friends, family, therapists, or coaches. Surrounding yourself with a supportive network can make the process feel less daunting. Talk to trusted friends or family members about your experiences with setting boundaries. Share your struggles and celebrate your successes. Consider seeking professional support from a therapist or coach. They can provide guidance, tools, and a safe space to explore your boundaries and develop strategies for maintaining them. Join a support group or online community where you can connect with others who are also working on setting healthy boundaries. Sharing experiences and advice can be incredibly empowering. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are people who understand your journey and are there to support you every step of the way. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage. Reaching out for support when you need it is a sign of strength. Reflect and adjust. Setting boundaries is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. As we grow and evolve, our needs and boundaries will naturally change over time. It's important to reflect on our boundaries regularly and make adjustments as needed. Schedule regular check-ins with yourself to assess how your boundaries are working. Are they still serving you? Do they need to be tweaked or adjusted? Pay attention to how you're feeling. Resentment, anger, and exhaustion can be signs that a boundary needs to be revisited or strengthened. Life is fluid, and our boundaries need to be flexible enough to adapt to new situations and relationships. Don't be afraid to experiment with different boundaries until you find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Remember, setting boundaries is about taking care of yourself and creating a life that feels authentic and aligned with your values. Celebrate your progress. Setting boundaries is a journey, and it's important to acknowledge and celebrate our progress along the way. Every time we set a boundary, communicate it clearly, or hold firm in the face of resistance, we're taking a step towards living a more authentic and empowered life. Notice the positive changes in your life as you become more comfortable setting boundaries. Do you feel less resentful, more energized, more connected to yourself and your values? Acknowledge the courage it takes to set boundaries, especially in the face of discomfort or resistance. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Reward yourself for your efforts. Take yourself out for a nice meal, spend time doing something you love, or simply acknowledge your progress with self-compassion and gratitude. Remember, setting boundaries is a gift you give yourself and the people in your life. It's a way of saying, I respect myself enough to protect my time, energy, and well-being. Keep going. You are worthy of love, respect, and healthy boundaries. Thank you for watching. Remember, setting healthy boundaries is a journey, not a destination. It takes courage, compassion, and a commitment to showing up for ourselves. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every step you take towards living a more authentic and empowered life. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting content. We're here to support you on your journey to wholehearted living. See you next time.